Hey, hey. Hi, guys. All right, Aries, here we go. Aries, welcome back, everybody. I was trying to get to you guys last night. As you know, I think the whole YouTube platform went down for a couple hours yesterday and like globally. And then I'm sure you guys read about it in the news. And then when it came back on, I had to do some big old resets, refresh everything on my end too. So, anyway, guys, sorry to keep you waiting a day, but I'm delighted to be with you now. So, we're going to take a look at what's been hidden from Aries in this message. What is it that isn't quite visible or, isn't quite at the forefront? And we have Cancerian energy. This energy is emotional, sensitive, caring, and loving. It may concern family, a mother, or a child. So, with that in mind, let's there could be some very lovely hidden emotions. Maybe this is going to be in between like family members. Maybe this is something, words unspoken. This feels very supportive. My first impression is somebody loves Aries a heck of a lot more than Aries maybe realizes. This could be, sometimes we think, family doesn't understand us or doesn't appreciate us, and this message kind of says, Aries may be very loved, very appreciated, more so than they could ever guess. Moon Pony, hi, sweetheart. Hi, Robin. Good to see you. We have Empress and 10 of Swords. Okay. Very nice energy here. This is Libra Taurus. This is mother energy. And it almost feels like if Aries either cut themselves out of like their family's life, it just kind of to me says, whew, that's a painful thing. Like either this is maybe a message from an ancestor who's already on the other side of the rainbow bridge saying, oh gosh, I wish that I was there to see you every day. Don't think that I'm gone, even if we are separated. Or if there was an argument between two people, it's like, don't think that there isn't still like an abundance of unconditional love that is projected at Aries from a mother figure, grandmother figure. We're going to keep this in the divine feminine aspect, even though I don't read for genders, but it's whomever played the role of like mothering, nurturing energy for Aries. Now, there's one other way I could look at this, which could be this is somebody who, whether or not Aries knows it, this is somebody who really longs for the days that they had Aries in their life as a marriage partner as well. So and we're going to stick with that interpretation because this is a very strong bond, and that bond is not gone. But I definitely feel the Tower, the Knight of Wands, definitely feel like here's Aries. It was definitely an upheaval, right? We already knew that with that 10 of Swords. Right now, this looks like it's a marriage partner. If Aries walked away because this person was unfaithful or was unreliable in some way with that Knight of Wands, boy, what's hidden from Aries is that this person's still madly in love with Aries. Maybe always will be. If there's a regret here that they didn't remain in Aries' life, didn't remain, giving to Aries or connecting to Aries, it's a very, very, very heavy regret. Very heavy regret. That is a very painful ending. The silence, it's like they know Aries isn't coming back. Yeah, with the Fool in the reverse, the 9 of Swords in the reverse, the 10 of Wands upright. They see it as if Aries is done with them, and they see it as if Aries thinks kind of very little of them. And this is not something that sits well with them at all. This person still has so much unconditional love. It's as if they still see themselves as married to Aries, if that's what this is about, or, in a serious commitment with Aries. This does not, they're under no confusion that Aries won't be approaching them again. And they also think this doesn't bother Aries at all. And Aries has long ago forgotten all about this, but they never forgot Aries. That's what I would say. This is somebody who has never forgotten Aries. Okay, this is the other deck my hand almost went for right at the beginning. So let's grab this one. So the emotional, sensitive, and caring and loving energy that is hidden, it's so crazy because it's just somebody is still very much, it's like Aries is the one for them. Empress energy is, you're the one I want in my empire. You're the person I want to build, a lifetime with. So let me look again. Why is it in their mind that Aries isn't with them? We have a 10 of Wands again, right? We have 2 10 of Wands. They keep saying, Aries' life is so much better without me. And I know it. I know that Aries isn't missing me. I know Aries is over it with me. We have the Chariot. We have the 7 of Wands. they blocked the ability for Aries to either like really get close to them. And by the way, considering that we have Cancerian here and Cancer here, they could be a Cancerian, or they are just simply like drowning in their emotions, or it was because of their emotional state and the emotions that they blocked that Aries left. I do feel like, again, we do have mother child energy, and I'm now wondering if this person had like detachment issues because of their relationship with their own mother. You know, there is a strong vibe of a mother wound or a mother issue here. I mean, maybe it was even the reason this person doesn't get into long-term commitments and open up properly is because they had a suffocating relationship with a mother figure, or maybe their mother was too involved. It could be something along those lines. But let me put it this way, no matter how long ago this is somebody who remembers Aries, and Aries was still the one for them. They know darn well Aries is not around anymore. They know Aries moved on, and they know exactly why. But the reason for that, I don't think they're trying to pull punches and be like, well, it wasn't my fault. I think that they're saying, you know, I definitely don't blame Aries for walking away. I know exactly why they did. I also know Aries didn't want to deal with my issues. My issues were I blocked energy. I blocked emotions, even though I had all these emotions, still do. Maybe this person is more like emotionally competent now than they were back in the day. That could be part of it. Six of Pentacles is upright. It's definitely that they're at a place now with that blooming lotus flower where they could actually connect better now, maybe in any kind of relationship than they used to be able to. This might be the first time in their lives they've ever started to like either get out from the I'm going to say like, because I want to make like a fist here and act like somebody had held on to them tightly. And I'm guessing that had to do with whatever their relationship was in a, mother child relationship. I think it drove away all relationships in their life, but they're finally at a place where they are whole enough to give to another person, that they know what was missing before. May I just ask a little bit more? What was the issue? Because that mother child thing that we're seeing. So it's not on Aries' side, it's on this other person's side. Like I said, they could be a Cancerian, they could be a Libra Taurus, but I'm just looking at the dynamics, keeps bringing up they were too involved, or their parent was, they failed to like really mature until far down the road when Aries is long since gone. We have a Three of Cups. We have the Nurture of Wands. Okay, I'm so sorry, but this person may have been told by their mother, and maybe their mother's like gaggle of, friends, aunties, and they could be kind of stuffy. They think that they were telling the truth, but I'm thinking that their mother figure and maybe their mother figure's like group had a lot to say about Aries. Aries is too sexy. Aries is not the kind of person that, you can have a long-term relationship with. They're too attractive for you. They're, they dress in a way that is provocative. They all were impressed with this Aries for sure, but I'm wondering if they didn't sow the seeds of doubt that either this person would be able to keep Aries in their life because Aries was too attractive. And maybe this wasn't mean-spirited. Maybe this is just, sometimes people overstep boundaries and say things that they got no business saying, and it really gets in another person's head. And it keeps feeling like I'm just trying to explore what was the deal with this like overwhelming mother issue. And it feels like they listened to their mom. It doesn't have to be a mother, but we're going to keep saying mother because of the Empress, and because of this first card. They listened, but with their own earmuffs on, right? They listened to some supposed truths that their mother and maybe their mother's like whole friend group had to say about Aries. In all fairness, they said very complimentary things about Aries. Aries is hot. Aries is attractive. Aries is powerful. Aries is somebody who we've got a tattoo on the shoulder. I don't know if that was a source of contention or if that was just the awareness that like Aries has the power to rebuild their entire life. I actually think that a mother figure thought highly of Aries, even if at the same time they instilled doubt and insecurity in the person that was trying to date Aries, their son or daughter. And it's maybe because they pointed out how great Aries was, the power Aries had, the attractiveness of Aries, all of that was complementary, but it served to either fill this person with doubts and made this person be like, yeah, that's why I shouldn't be with that Aries. Mom's right. I don't know that that's what mom was saying. It just feels like, why is mom even having to weigh in? I don't know. Let me ask you, why did you let other people give their 2 cents? Eight of Swords and High Priestess. Okay, so the problem comes back to them. They were either scared and looking for a way to not be with Aries, not because they didn't want to be, but because they had some kind of fear, some kind of insecurity in themselves, and this is the way they hide it. They find a reason that somebody is not who they're supposed to be with. And they probably do this in every relationship, but it's so crazy because out of every person they've ever met and probably run from and sabotaged, it's so that they can reinforce a fear in themselves and give themselves a reason why they don't need to be in this relationship. They shouldn't be in this relationship. They maybe want to be single. At the end of the day, maybe this person wants to be single. Maybe they were petrified of being cheated on, and they're like, God, that Aries is too freaking attractive. They'll probably cheat on me at some point. They'll find somebody better than me. So when I talk to my mom, her friends, and they all go, wow, that Aries is a 10. Holy smokes, where'd you meet somebody like that? They're going to go places in life. And they're like, yeah, I know. That's why I need to sabotage and get the hell out of this. There's no way I can be with Aries. It triggers my insecurities that I don't want to look at. Not at all. So I start blocking energy. I start blocking, the ability to connect with Aries. And I don't know if then they make up a story where they run back to mom because mom is a security net or something. Mom loves me unconditionally. That's the one relationship I don't have to be afraid of. I know mom loves me unconditionally. I wonder if that's been a routine in their life. They find a reason not to be with somebody that they care about because of their stuck ideas and insecurities. They know this though, that deep intuition, they know this. I'm still not going to completely say that there's not an element of possibly a parental figure who does low-key sabotage as well, knows just the right buzzwords to describe how awesome Aries is, to kind of get under their skin a little bit. I mean, maybe in the most well-meaning, maybe a mother figure is trying to say, like, I know my son or daughter pretty well. They need to get over their insecurities. They met somebody as a stand-up Aries, this is a stand-up person. They need to work on themselves just a smidge so that they can be with this amazing person. Maybe this is a complex one for me to describe. It just feels like their mother figure is both their safety net, but also somebody who gives them some kind of truth. But I'm not sure that it doesn't also sabotage, but we have to put a lot of that on them. They look for a way to escape because they're scared. And I think it boils down to they're so scared that somebody as attractive and wonderful as Aries, who they actually were nuts about, would someday cheat on them. Yeah, they need to find balance in themselves. If this is some deep-seated fear, they've got to get to a point where they change that energy from themselves. But all those fears were like hidden, certainly hidden from Aries. Are you at some point going to get control of these fears? We have got the Messenger of Swords upright. We got the Two of Swords. Okay, so they are starting to maybe a little bit take a look at things, but it's hard. We do have ego here. They know it, but they still kind of want to run from it. I don't think this person is ready to be in any kind of a connection. I think they know Aries was wonderful. I think they know Aries is an amazing person. I think they know when they think of Aries, they know that they have unconditional love for Aries and that was the one they wanted to be with. But knowing something and then making a change in behavior, that's two very different things. Are they looking into a little, learning more about themselves? Yes. Are they still refusing to a particular component of their behavior? I would say yes. I don't see this person ready to come back and be like, Aries, I'm sorry I pushed you away. It doesn't look like that. Okay, so let me shift energy just a second and say, so what is the reason for this message at all, right? Is it just You know, is it just because they, maybe Aries, you know, if Aries has pondered this, you know, I wonder what happened with that person. I wonder why they basically sabotaged, ran away, kept me at arm's length. Because I do think with that Seven of Wands card that we saw, they put up really unnecessary blockages. I mean, they could have started fights out of nowhere with Aries. They could have tried to, you know, create drama. And sometimes when people do stuff like that, where they're being avoidant, or they're creating scenarios, manufacturing scenarios where then they can put up a boundary, that can be really hurtful, because it's like, okay, I guess I'll go then. And that's what it looks like Aries did, is I guess I'm hopping in my car and I'm driving away. Because it doesn't seem like they want me around. It seems like they're blocking me. So I guess I should go. Why is this message coming up for Aries at all? We have the Hanged Man. Aries hasn't seen it from this perspective yet in this particular story. And maybe this is just to give our Aries a different viewpoint that they hadn't yet considered. Like, why would somebody have behaved this way toward me? Why did they push me away? Why did they act like I wasn't good enough to give to? What was the deal? Aries was always good enough to give to, and this person even wanted to, but not with so many fears. You know, it says with the Judgment card and the Seven of Cups, for Aries to be able to, and please let me preface this briefly and say, with the Judgment card, which can oftentimes be about, you know, I give forgiveness. I personally, it's just me being my petty self, I don't believe victims need to give forgiveness. In fact, everything in me is irritated when people try to act like, oh, it's so much better if you can forgive somebody. No, I think moving on is the gift, a gift that is even unnecessary, but it's a gift for oneself. I let myself move on. Or if there's forgiveness, I forgive me for having gone through it. But I'm under no obligation. No victim has to forgive anybody else. They were the victim. They're the ones wronged. So sorry, I have to say it because of what I'm about to say with this card. And I just want it to be very clear. I believe in supporting victims, not in telling victims what they need to now do for others. I think if somebody wants to forgive somebody, awesome. But I just never want to sound like I'm promoting that idea, because I don't believe in that. I stand with the victims. And I think victims should live a beautiful life, but in no uncertain circumstances would I say, oh, when you forgive somebody, you'll feel better. No, when you move on, you'll feel better. When you continue on with your life and make it beautiful and even more successful, that's what I support victims in. So with that being said, in this one instance, I will say, if the message here is for Aries to look at it from a different perspective, they may feel like, oh God, I feel sorry for them. It would suck to be them. They found me, they wanted me, and they found a way to sabotage it and kind of stay in a safe relationship where only their mom is something they can rely on. They thought I was too attractive and then I'd cheat on them. That sucks to be them, that they have that much fear. And if Aries can kind of see it maybe in that perspective, that might allow Aries to like move on from any hurt. And again, the only reason I made my little, you know, statement about like victims and such is because I never wanted it to sound like Aries now has to do this. It's our obligation to be the bigger person and blah, blah, blah. No, this is more just like this subtle perspective shift that might actually allow Aries to like completely put this behind them. And simultaneously, they may harbor no hurt feelings, no pain, and in fact, even have more compassion for that person. Again, I just don't want to make it sound like Aries is obligated to be like, wow, so you liked me, but you made me feel like you didn't like me. You pushed me away in kind of a rude way, and I had to leave because I couldn't figure out why you were so kind of unpleasant to me. I don't want it to sound like Aries gets to be treated like that. And now Aries needs to say, but that's okay. I have to forgive you because somehow your life is obviously more complicated than mine, even though I'm the one you mistreated. But I should just, you know, lay down and just consider you all the time. No. But I do think it would help Aries to free themselves from the confusion of this. And if anything, yes, it would suck to be that person. They're doing it to themselves, perhaps, or there's unhealed things in themselves. And for that, we can always say, I hope that they heal. But doesn't erase the fact they treated me poorly. But I am sure glad that I don't feel that way about me. I think this is a sensitive and delicate thing, and I'm not sure that I'm handling it very gracefully here. But I think if that hurt Aries in the past, it's almost like then Aries got wounded by somebody else who wouldn't heal their own wounds. And that's never quite fair. And so I always kind of like want to protect characters, even though I want that other person to heal too. You know, I'm always going to be on the side of like, yeah, but now what do you think it did to Aries? Give him a head trip, you know, making him feel unwanted and not having a clue why. I mean, that could really mess with our Aries self-confidence when in fact, all of this was about Aries was so amazing and so lovely. And that's why they got treated poorly. It wasn't because Aries wasn't enough. And I just, I hate to see if our characters start to feel hurt inside. And so the big message here is if Aries could see someone's behavior from an opposite lens, why they push Aries away, why they treat Aries rudely, when they see it from an opposite lens, it may really free them. And with the Seven of Cups, that's a great, not a great lesson, obviously, but it is something to ponder when Aries continues, because Aries is going to meet somebody else. We see it right here. As Aries moves on and meets another person, this lesson might pop back up, and Aries might be able to say, wow, I remember that person of the past who was like intimidated by me, then didn't treat me nice, took me a while to figure out what the heck happened. And now when I meet somebody new, I'll be able to see the difference. Like, this person's not intimidated. This person is proud to be with me. They're not scared of me. They're not running from me. They're strong enough to stand beside me. We look at the world through the same lens. We have the same level of confidence within us. I just think this is a story of Aries' confidence being restored if any of that had been taken from them during this very complicated story. So I kind of dig the fact that this, even if I didn't tell it very well, I hope the message still came through, because this is one where if I were just to summarize it, it says Aries shouldn't be wounded by this. Somebody couldn't, be brave enough or deal with their own insecurities enough to admit, God, I love being with Aries. Of course, I'm scared. I'm nervous because what if they leave me for somebody else? But man, I love this Aries. I want to treat them well. I want to make sure that I do my best to hope the Aries will want to stay with me. They didn't do that. They pushed Aries away in kind of a rude way. And it's just all this was hidden, all of their insecurities, all the reasons why they might have done this. And that could have left Aries with a pretty big scar or doubting their self-worth. And here it says, but it doesn't have to. And in fact, Aries will go on and probably have a much happier outcome. With somebody new, possibly, interestingly enough, another Cancerian. Maybe Aries has a thing for Cancers, like emotional, sensitive, softer energies. But maybe they'll meet someone who's suspiciously similar to this person of the past, but somebody who's whole and unafraid. I don't see Aries getting back together with this person, even though the Judgment card is here, only because night after night after night, it looks like Aries slept in a bed alone, tried to figure out what the hell happened, and they finally don't wonder anymore. They're finally jumping through that portal, and that's where life changes, when Aries doesn't hurt over this anymore. So that's what I would really say the story is. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. I so appreciate you guys. And Aries, thanks for hanging in there until I could get the internet nice and smooth. I tried last night and it was really choppy, and I was like, I'm not going to do this to anybody. We'll wait till tomorrow and everything has a good reset. Moon Pony, Robin, Courtney Walsh, so good to see you. Delinda, hang in there. We're getting to Scorpio and Ophiuchus. I'll probably do both of those live this morning as well, just because you guys were kept waiting. I will also re-release the 2 videos from yesterday for Gemini and Pisces that didn't finish processing, although I did them live. They took 24 hours to process. So anyway, those will be coming back out. Sorry, it's been yesterday was a glitchy day. Hi, G, Star Child. So nice to see you guys. Cosmo Guy, Denisa, hi, sweetheart. Delinda, you're so awesome. Thank you, babe. All right, you guys, thanks, and have a beautiful afternoon or day or evening, wherever in the world you may be. And I will see you several more times as we do some more zodiacs today. All right, bye for right now.